government's fiscal package is very similar to what was carried out after the first wave. And I think the fiscal approach has been twofold. In relief, it has been to put free grain in the hands of people, and so there's a program to kind of parcel out free grain all the way till November. And the second approach has been through the banking system using a variety of credit guarantees. I guess this needs to be seen in the context that the fiscal is walking a delicate balancing act. On the one hand, as you laid out, the second wave clearly increases the need for some support, fiscal support. But on the other hand, we're already at a situation where the deficit's quite elevated. Debt to GDP is going to be close to 90%. So there are some constraints that are going to naturally emerge on the fiscal. I think what will be really important for the rest of the year, from the standpoint of providing help to the economy, is both the central budget and the state budgets had planned a lot of capital expenditure this year. And I think that's exactly the right approach. I'm not sure India can necessarily rely on stronger consumption growth or stronger investment growth coming out of the second wave, because there has been a fair amount of scarring to household balance sheets at the bottom of the pyramid. Utilization rates for manufacturing are not at levels that would invite high investment. So the government spending, and in particular public investment and capital expenditure, will have to be key to the revival in the coming months. Now, that's already part of the central government's budget and the state government's budget. So therefore, as important as these relief measures are, what's equally important is in the next 6 months of this year, that those capital expenditure budgets get spent to jumpstart growth.
Fair enough, but you say something that's rather serious about consumption growth being scarred. When does it come back in a meaningful way? When do the scars heal?
I think we'll have to be realistic, and this is not just true of India, but all emerging markets. We've been through 2 waves. There has been some scarring at the bottom of the pyramid. There seems to be a divergent recovery. Large firms have done very well. Their profits have gone up. People at the top of the income spectrum have been able to save, and therefore that spending will come back. But we've got to be realistic that, given where the labor market is, that precautionary savings may rise for some time, and people might be a little bit more reluctant to spend aggressively. To be fair, some of these dynamics had started even before COVID. If you look closely in 2019, consumption was the key driver of growth for many years before COVID. But by 2019, it had begun to slow. Now, investment is endogenous. It needs some driver of demand. The good news for India is the balance sheet constraint that had hobbled private investment has largely disappeared. There's been aggressive deleveraging by the large corporates in the last few years. What investment will now wait for is a pickup in demand and a pickup in utilization rates, which are still below 70%. It's not clear that will come from consumption immediately, but there are 2 opportunities here. One I spoke about, which is public investment and higher government spending. The second is the external sector. India's exports have done very well in the last 6-7 months, manufacturing exports in particular. So to the extent that the global economy is booming and global growth is above trend for the next 6-8 quarters, that will provide some tailwinds. The hope has to be, from a policy perspective, that strong exports and public investment provide a bridge to let household and small business balance sheets heal so that over time, consumption can gradually recover.